So, hello there everyone and welcome, it is Niran here, and today it is time for me to bring you a very different video indeed in comparison to what we've usually got on this channel. And today, well, I'm bringing you my predictions for the World Cup because clearly not enough people have done that already. However, today you know what, I wanted to chip in. I wanted to chip in and bring my thoughts to the table. There's only 3 weeks now as you're watching this until the World Cup starts in Russia, and there's so much still left on the table in terms of who is going to do well, who is going to be the surprise package, who's going to be a top goal scorer, and I'm going to be predicting all of that hopefully in this video with the use of this group stage wall chart here in the background. Now, speaking of the World Cup, the best way to keep up with it in terms of news, in my opinion, is going to be to check out an app called OneFootball. Now, it's free to download on both Apple and Android, and it allows you to check out all the news, latest scores, future fixtures, and even player and team stats from the World Cup and from the tournament, generally speaking. And because the World Cup is so frantic with games going on left, right and centre, you can focus on specific nations that you want to hear news from. So if you just want to hear news updates and scoreline updates about England, you'll only get those notifications to your phone. It does also work domestically in the league, but it'll be most useful over the summer for the World Cup. So make sure to download it down in the description below. Now, if you go on to enjoy this video, make sure to slap a like on it, and of course subscribe if you are new to the channel. But getting back into the prediction, and we might as well start with group number A. Group number A. Group letter A, or just Group A, as most people, I assume, will call it. Now, this, in my opinion, is probably one of the weakest, if not the weakest group out of the entire group stages. But we've got Russia, the home nation, a bit of an unknown entity in terms of qualifying because they didn't have to qualify, but quite an aging side overall, not too much in the way of youth. Saudi Arabia did well in qualifying, but again, not a great side. Egypt, obviously, the main man himself. If you don't know I'm a Liverpool fan, then you know now, but Mohamed Salah, I wish he could just guide Egypt to World Cup glory, quite frankly. Obviously, the main team really in that one is Uruguay. They came second in the South American qualifications behind Brazil. Realistically, they are the favourites. I would definitely suggest they will be winning that group. Then it's sort of a bit of a toss-up, really, between Egypt and Russia, in my opinion. I don't think Saudi Arabia will pick up more than a point. And to be honest with you, I would put my money, realistically, on Egypt beating Russia and Saudi Arabia in Group A. So that's what I'm going for. Uruguay coming top of that group, and then Egypt guided by the Egyptian king himself. Now, Group B arguably is a bit more of an easy affair on paper, but actually it might not be so. We've got Portugal, Spain, Morocco, and Iran. Now, obviously, both Portugal and Spain both won their qualifying groups. That's all fairs. Morocco were actually group winners as well, and they actually beat the Ivory Coast in the African group they were in. So do not sleep on Morocco. They've got a very good side. They've got some very good players. And just to throw even more mystery into the mix, Iran were unbeaten in Asian qualification in their group. So they have also got a very good run of form, if you like, going into this tournament. And they're pretty much the best Asian side. Definitely going to go for Spain to win the group overall. They always perform, or usually perform. If we're going to go for a safe option, it should be Portugal. Let's not beat around the bush. It should definitely be Portugal. So Morocco and Iran going out. But I think if they were in any other group at all, they'd both have a decent chance of getting out of the group. Group C next, and I think we're going to have the easiest job out of any of them to say who's going to win it, and that's France. Surely France are going to win that group. Australia really scraped through Asian qualification massively. They had to beat Syria in a playoff, but in my opinion, again, safe option really is that Denmark will come second in that group. So Australia and Peru going out. I think that's a bit more of a straightforward one, or at least it should be anyway. Group D now, and this is another very difficult one, a little bit like Group B, because we've got 4 very decent sides. Obviously Argentina, that unbelievable strike force of Lionel Messi, Gonzalo Higuain, Paulo Dybala. They didn't even manage to take Mauro Icardi, who scored like 28 goals or something this season. Obviously you've got Iceland, who performed so well at Euro 2016 as an unknown quality. It'll be nice to see their sort of Nordic clap come back as well, which has been stolen by absolutely everybody else. Croatia, very decent side, some good players, very good midfield especially. And finally Nigeria. Again, if you don't know, I'm part Nigerian, so I'm really hoping that Nigeria do a good job, but they've been dealt a really harsh hand, if you like, with the sides in their group. If you actually look at the qualification, Iceland and Croatia were in the same group, and Iceland actually came out on top. Although I don't think they're guaranteed to win the group, I think they will step up on the the actual World Cup group stage, if you like. So I'm going to say that they're going to win the group, and then I'm actually going to say Iceland. So Group E next, again, a pretty stock standard one in terms of who's going to win it. That surely should easily be Brazil, realistically. They were top of the South American qualification. They shouldn't have any issues getting out of that group at all. Switzerland, obviously, decent side. They do well-ish at European and World tournaments. They don't exactly set the world alight, but Costa Rica are another team, actually, that does pretty well in tournaments as well. A couple of very decent players like Brian Ruiz, who you may remember from Premier League football, and then Serbia as well. A bit of an unknown quality, if you like. I think, though, I'm going to have to go for Switzerland to come second. Group F, we've got another very, very simple one in terms of who comes first, in my opinion. Germany, obviously, pretty much just a powerhouse of world football. I don't see them having any issues winning that group whatsoever. Now, Mexico were actually the best North American side in qualification. I actually think they'll be the tournament's big overachievers, the likes of Javier Hernandez, Herving Lozano as well. Usually I would say Sweden would come second in this group, but without Zlatan Ibrahimovic, no Zlatan, no party, no firepower, in my opinion. I think that Swedish side is really, really average beyond him, apart from Emil Forsberg, who's pretty decent. South Korea have got a couple of decent players as well, obviously the likes of Heung-min Son, but I don't think they've got quite enough overall. So I'm going to go for Mexico coming second in that group, and then Germany going through as well. Group G now, and this is the all-important one as far as England fans are concerned. The group along with Belgium, Panama, and Tunisia. Now, on the face of it, it should be a very simple one, this one, really. Belgium first, England second, and then Panama and Tunisia going out. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is England that we are talking about, okay? It's not as simple as that. I do think it will end up that way because I think we've been blessed, really, by two teams that are very average in Panama and Tunisia. Belgium, although they're perennial underperformers in competitions, I still think they've got that one pretty much sewn up. So I'm going to go for England to come second in that group. Don't fear, English fans, but I don't have much faith we'll get too far, beyond that, maybe. And then finally, we've left the most difficult till last, Group H, which is completely a free-for-all from top to bottom. We've got Poland, Senegal, Colombia, although I'm pretty sure that's not actually an accurate representation of the Colombian flag that we've got here, and Japan. Obviously, Poland have got their main man, Robert Lewandowski, who was the top scorer, or joint top scorer, of the entire qualification phase, getting 16 goals. He scored the most out of anyone in the European qualifiers. Now, listen to this. Senegal have actually got an unbelievable team. Like, I genuinely think they could go under the radar, because their team is very good. Obviously, Sadio Mane from the team that I support, Kalidou Koulibaly of Napoli, Balde Diao Keita as well, Ismail Assar, who's jumped onto the scene over in France as a 20-year-old, Idrissa Gueye, Chekou Kouyate. Senegal might just be there or thereabouts, we'll have to wait and see. Colombia are another team with some very decent players, the usual, like James Rodriguez, of course, is going to be leading that side. And then Japan as well, Japan with some very decent players, the likes of Kazuki Honda, Shinji Kagawa, Okazaki as well. So it really is a massive, massive lottery, is Group H, quite frankly. And I'm going to say that Senegal are going to win the group. I know, unbelievable. I'm going to say Senegal are going to win the group because, right, this is my reasoning, okay? If Robert Lewandowski doesn't turn up for Poland, I think they're in massive issues. So I'm going to say Senegal first and Colombia second. So this is what it would leave us for the round of 16. We'd have Uruguay versus Portugal, Spain v Egypt, France v Iceland, which I think happened at the Euros, Argentina v Denmark, Brazil v Mexico, Germany v Switzerland, Belgium v Colombia, and Senegal versus England. Now, this isn't a conspiracy. I didn't purposefully give England slightly easier opposition. I think Senegal genuinely would provide a bigger challenge than Poland. So we'll get onto that one though in a moment. We'll start off with Uruguay v Portugal, which I think would be quite an evenly matched affair. I think Portugal on the face of it do have a better side, obviously led by Cristiano Ronaldo, but I don't know. I didn't plan this far. I sort of half planned the group stages, but I'm having to really make decisions on this one, and it obviously gets harder. I'm actually going to say Portugal. I think Portugal have got a better team all round than Uruguay, who've got some very, very good individual players in their side. Obviously, Suarez and Godin are absolutely unbelievable. So Portugal, I'm going to say, are going to win that one. And then we move on to Spain v Egypt. And as much as I would love Mohamed Salah to just win the entire World Cup for Egypt, I can't really see them having much of a chance up against Spain. So I think that's going to be realistically a pretty simple one. Now, France v Iceland, again, on paper, it's a pretty simple simple one, really. It should be France. I can't remember what the score actually was when these two faced each other in Euro 2016, but obviously France came out on top because they got to the final. But yeah, I would hazard a guess, out of these two, France would win that one again. Argentina v Denmark, again, not too much to say on this one. Would just really fancy my chances on Argentina winning that one. Now, Brazil v Mexico. I literally just sung the praises of Mexico being the surprise package and getting quite far. And on a usual, like, if I was just to say or predict where they'd get to, I'd say the quarterfinals. But if they were to face Brazil, that would obviously be a much more difficult task. However, I'm actually going to go out on a limb here, and this is probably the only really surprising thing I'll do in this entire thing, but I'm actually going to say that I think Mexico would just nab that over Brazil. I know it goes against all the stats and stuff that I've brought you, but I'm going to get so much hate for this. I genuinely believe Mexico could beat Brazil. I wouldn't want it to happen. I'd love to see Brazil play in this World Cup for as long as possible. But I just have a sense inside my stomach that if Brazil and Mexico were to face each other, Mexico would pull a madness out of the bag. They cannot be underestimated. Anyway, less confusing one next up. Germany v Switzerland. Surely there's only one winner out of these two, and it has to be Germany. Now, this is probably the most difficult one to call. Belgium versus Colombia. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think Colombia are as strong as they were 4 years ago at the World Cup last time, which is probably the one thing that might save Belgium here. If this was happening in the World Cup of 2014, I'd probably be sat here for about 10 minutes trying to work out who was going to win this one. I think Belgium would just about scrape through that, but it would definitely go to either extra time or penalties, in my opinion. Now, Senegal v England is a little bit of a difficult one in comparison to what I was expecting. On the face of it, England should win, but as I set out, Senegal have got a very decent side. I wouldn't go into it wholly confident, although that might just be biased because it's the country that I'm from, so I'm naturally pessimistic about the whole thing. But yeah, I think England would just about scrape through, but don't expect that to be an easy game at all if it does go on to happen. So here we go, we're starting to get to the juicy point of the competition now, the quarter-finals, and you can see there are some mouth-watering ties set up here because of, oh my goodness, how on earth. Portugal v France, a rerun of the final for Euro 2016, and a chance to inflict revenge on the team that stole a home Euro win away from them, and I genuinely think they will inflict that revenge on Portugal. I think France are a bit better prepared this time and have a bit of a better side. I think they left even more players at home for that competition, so I genuinely think France would win against Portugal. Now, Spain v Argentina is a bit more of a difficult one. I can't lie to you. Spain don't quite have the best team they could, but I think all around they might be a bit better than Argentina. It's a difficult one. I would probably go along with Spain beating Argentina. I don't know. I don't want it to happen because I actually want Lionel Messi to win a World Cup at some point or do well in one, but yeah, you know what? I'm going to go for Spain. It breaks my heart. Now, the third quarter-final is probably the most low profile in terms of the teams involved, but Mexico v Belgium I think would be a really, really interesting tie. I know I've just predicted Mexico to spring a surprise on Brazil, but I don't think they'd get to the semi-finals. I don't think they could do two. So I think Belgium would beat Mexico. And then finally, it's the classic tie, isn't it, realistically? Germany v England in the fourth and final quarter-final. It's bound to happen, really. I hope we don't get a replay of 2010, the controversy that went along with that game. Of course, Frank Lampard's ghost goal, or not, as the case may be. It was obviously a goal, but the referee decided not to give it, despite the ball being a light year over Manuel Neuer's line. However, I do think, unfortunately, for us England fans, the result will be the same. Not the actual scoreline. I hope the scoreline's not the same, but I think the overall result will be. This England side has got a bit more character, in my opinion, than some of the ones that have gone before it, but I don't think it has the firepower. And look at that. France v Belgium and Spain v Germany. It's an all-European affair. Oh god, that's terrible. I shouldn't have done that. I should have at least had a South American team in there or something. I don't know, Belgium are a lot stronger this year, but I do genuinely think France would have the firepower over Belgium in that one. So again, I'd probably say, yeah, I'd probably go along with France over Belgium in the first of the semi-finals there. Again, they are both very strong sides, but that French team is utterly disgusting. So unless they massively underperform, and then Spain v Germany. Again, I can't believe we haven't. I can't believe it's all European teams. That's pretty poor from myself. But Spain v Germany is the second semi-final though, and I mean, pick it out of a hat. Quite frankly, what are we getting out of this situation? To be honest with you, I know it's the stock standard option. Again, I did that with France v Belgium, but I think Germany would win that. I genuinely think Germany would come out on top. But the final, the main attraction is the final. And France v Germany, goodness, what have I done? Why could I not have just predicted that, like, flipping South Korea made it to the final, and at least I would have had an easy task at the end of it. France all round, just a brilliant side, but obviously they haven't taken, in my opinion, the strongest side they actually possibly could. Germany, there's a couple of interesting selections for them, the likes of Nils Petersen, but they are players that have performed really well. Really difficult one overall, I think, between France. Germany obviously won the World Cup in 2014. They are the reigning champions. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb. Oh, this is going to get me so many more dislikes, but I reckon France. You know what? Bun it. I reckon France are going to win the World Cup. I've decided it here and now. Does the graphic change? Oh, it does. Oh, I like that. Anyway, that's not the point. So, in terms of a prediction then, for the 2018 World Cup in Russia, I'm going to go for France. I'm going to go for France beating Germany. Surprise packages, Mexico definitely, Iceland making it out of the groups, Egypt, Senegal as well. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be that. France are the team that I am predicting to win the World Cup for 2018. But as I said at the start of the video, make sure to let me know who you think is going to win the World Cup. Who's going to be the surprise package? Who's going to be the underachievers? But let me know down there in the comment section. It's going to spark all sorts of debate down there. So I'm ready for it. Just please don't be mean to each other. If you enjoyed the video though, slap a like on it, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and of course leave your predictions down there in the comments. Follow me on Twitter as well if you're new around here. It's @theofficialfng, and my Instagram is exactly the same. Links are down below. Once again, don't forget to check out OneFootball, who sponsored this video. Links are down below, and you can download the app in the description. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.
I roll out with some monsters. Looks like your team and you watchers. I do not roll with imposters. Sound like the man in the Oscars. I'm drunk off Henny and Foster's. I have a career, I am jobless. This bitch f me so hard, I might just end up unconscious. I like girls in lingerie, especially if it is crotchless. Bitch, I am the bigger picture. There is no way you can crop us.